Yes, it is.
Okay. I can't tell the difference between the colors.
I turn it on and off and I just forget.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm ready.
All right, good evening. It is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. We're in the council chambers. It's 7 p.m. This is the official city council agenda. At this time, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Cohen,
Present?
Councilman Leaders,
Here.
Councilman Fleetwood. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Munger,
Here.
Councilman Haycraft, Councilwoman Azatea, Mayor McCoy,
Here. All right, there being a quorum, I call the meeting to order. At this time, I ask Mayor Pro Tem Munger to give the invocation.
Father God, we just come before you and we come with thanksgiving. We thank you for keeping us all safe in this weather. And we thank you for all that you continue to do and the blessings you pour on this city. Lord, we ask you to be with us tonight, give us wisdom, and lead us into the right decision to do everything that is needed in this community. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hunter, will you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah.
Mayor, can I make a motion to excuse Councilman Haycroft?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got family duties.
Sure. Second. I have a motion and a second from Councilman Cohen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Councilman Haycraft is excused. The first item we have is the approval of the agenda, and the clerk has placed a packet in front of you, council. We had kind of a last-minute addition here, and the clerk can kind of explain that if you have any questions over that, but I would look for a motion to amend the agenda, amend the agenda to include this event request for the Christmas Living Windows.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to amend the agenda as displayed. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item passes. Next up, we have the approval of minutes from the regularly scheduled council meeting, November 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, council, is the approval of payroll and claims, the second half, November 2025.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We did not have anyone sign up for public comments, so with the amended agenda, we will go ahead and, for the first item, discuss the Christmas Living Windows. Christine Russell, I believe, from HHMC, to present. And again, council, that packet was not included. It is in front of you if you have any questions. Hello.
Christine, will you
Is the
bend the microphone down towards you, please?
It might, can you check and see if that's on? It might not be on. My apologies.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Just want to make sure everybody at home can hear you.
That's an IT job right there.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
No.
Christine Russell, Kristine. Thank you for including us on the agenda tonight. We appreciate it. We are asking for a street closure for 1 week from this Saturday, December 13th, for our annual Living Windows event on Main Street.
Okay, council, I believe that all the insurance and documents are on file in the clerk's office, and again, that packet is in front of you. Does council have any questions for Ms. Russell?
If I remember correctly, that's just North Main. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If there's no further questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the request. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
All right, council, next up on the agenda, we have under my name, approval for reappointment. We have 3 for the Industrial Development Authority. These are all second readings. Individually, or can we do them all together?
You can do all of the first together and then the second one separately.
Okay, so for a second reading, we have Hal Benedict, appointment for a term to expire January of 2032. We have Stuart McIntyre for an appointment for a term to expire January of 2032, and Gordon Ibsen for an appointment for a term to expire January 2032. Again, these are all second readings. Do you need a roll call, don't you, on that?
No,
Just a motion? Okay.
Move to approve the reappointment of these 3.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of appointment for the Industrial Development Authority. This is a second reading, and this is for Kevin Knickerbocker for an appointment for a term to expire in January of 2032.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the Hannibal Municipal Assistance Corporation, and this is a first reading. John Oberman up for an appointment for a term to expire June of 2028. No action on that, council. That'll be back next council meeting for a second reading and a vote. And that is all I have under my name. Next items are Andy Dorian, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. First up, we have change order 1 and 2 for the Central Park renovation project, which is getting close to wrapping up. So I put a list together of a handful of things. The total change order for 1 and 2 is $43,397.93. Just to kind of go over a little bit, the electric pedestals, the original ones they spec'd, when they went to actually buy them, they didn't have them anymore. So there was a little change there. The gazebo stucco repair was one that we expected. Until they actually got into that, they had no idea. So they threw a number out, and that ended up being 14,000 additional more. The sidewalk modifications, this was an extremely difficult project because you had standard points throughout the park. And once you do over 51% of a renovation, you have to meet ADA. It's very hard to meet ADA when you have fixed points like the bandstand and the fountain and the 4 corners. And so they had a couple of little modifications they had to make after the fact. The next one was actually a good thing. In some of the concrete repairs, they found an actual box inlet on Broadway that still worked. And so we worked with the Board of Public Works to open it back up again. So we found an additional drain on Broadway. Cool. So that was a good thing. And then the flagpole was something that just came up. When looking at it, it's actually kind of cobbled together. No one knows how many years, it's decades old. And so we said, with everything that we're doing, we might as well put a new one back. And it has a massive bow in it, and et cetera. So total project is, change orders are $43,397.93. And we do have that in the budget.
Okay. Council, if there's no questions over that, that'll be resolution 2577-25 to follow for approval.
Okay, last thing I have, this is kind of an odd one. We got a request from a law firm to do an approval to sign a public finance authority bond document. It's just a legal document that a company needs to, and a purchase they made out by General Mills. And so in order for the mayor to sign that, it has to come to council for approval and resolution. I presented this to James. James said it doesn't tie us to anything legally, and so it's just a formality. So this would be under the mayor's signature.
Any questions on that item, council? If not, that'll be resolution 2576-25 to follow for approval. Anything else, Andy?
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is Melissa Cogwell, City Clerk.
Mayor and council, I get the fun stuff tonight. In accordance with provisions with section 1701, Charter of the City of Hannibal, we held a special election for the purpose of a public safety tax known as Prop 1, an amendment to the city charter known as Prop M, which was held on November the 4th of 2025. Tonight, I will certify those election results for you guys so we can move forward. I, Melissa Cogdill, City Clerk of the City of Hannibal, do hereby certify that the following is a complete and true copy of the certification of the election held on November 4th, 2025, as certified to me by the Marion County and Rawls County Clerks. On Proposition 1, for the purpose of improving public safety of the city by supporting the fire and police departments, shall the City of Hannibal charge a city sales tax of 0.5%, with the tax proceeds to be deposited into a special trust fund or an account kept separate and apart from all other funds of the city, to be used for the sole purpose of paying costs associated with public safety. In Marion County, we had 1,106 yes votes. We had 457 no votes. In Rawls County, we had 5 yes votes and 3 no votes. So having received, it's 1,400, sorry, I gotta get over to your old paperwork. Having received 1,571 votes for Proposition 1 for the City of Hannibal, 1,111 yes, 460 no, declaring Proposition 1 having passed with 651 votes. On Proposition M, when the City of Hannibal Charter was amended to convert the City of Hannibal to the city manager for the government, it gave power to an unelected city manager to make appointments to the Board of Public Works, the Park Board, the Zoning Commission, and the Board of Adjustment. Shall the City of Hannibal amend its charter to provide that these appointments will be made by the mayor instead of the city manager? In Marion County, we had 895 yes votes, 554 no votes. In Rawls County, we had 6 yes votes and 2 no votes. So showing a total of 1,457 votes for Proposition M for the City of Hannibal, 901 yes, 556 no. Proposition M has passed with by a total of 345 votes. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
No questions?
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Now I've got one more for you.
Okay.
The Public Safety Tax Initiative. So on November the 4th of 2025, the voters of the Hannibal approved a half-cent public sales tax in accordance with the Missouri Statute 94.900. Upon certification of the special election results, the City of Hannibal would be required to pass an ordinance adopting the additional tax. City Attorney James Lemon drafted ordinance number 5015, adopting and imposing an additional sales tax of 0.5% for the sole purpose of improving the public safety for the City of Hannibal. Upon adoption of the said ordinance, the City of Hannibal will notify the Director of Revenue of the adoption of the tax. The tax shall then be in effect on the first day of the second calendar quarter after notification. With this timeline set in place, the tax would begin to be collected on April 1st, 2026, and paid to the City of Hannibal in May of 2026. Staffing is requesting a first reading and approval of ordinance number 5015.
And that'll be that Bill 25-078 to follow. Okay. Any questions for the clerk, council? All right, thanks, Melissa. Next up, we have Police Chief Jacob Naki. A few items tonight, looks like.
I will point out that I think tonight's the first night I've beaten Andy with how many items I have on the agenda, so. I'll go through this since I got several things. I won't keep you here all night. But the first thing is a project that we've been wanting to do for a long time. It's just been more of a question of cost. Our records management system, the system that we write our police reports on, that actually dispatch uses for computer-aided dispatch, kind of use it for everything. We've had it since 2002. With that, we've been looking at more modern systems that are currently out there. When you're using software that's been upgraded since 2002, you kind of have to look out and see what else is out there and what features are you missing out on. So with that, NECOM, which is our dispatching provider for Northeast Missouri, this side of the state at least, wanted to kind of take the lead on that and go out and try to get all their agencies that they are kind of the umbrella over to switch to the same software, because it helps them dispatch. It would involve new CAD systems on their side, and it's a rather large investment on their part, but then also for each of the agencies that kind of fall under that. So with that, there's a lot of demos that they that were hosted and held, and after talking to the leadership there at NECOM, everyone kind of was in agreement that Central Square, which is a software provider, would be the one that best fits their needs, and also for the needs of not just us, but for the agencies around us. Currently, on our current system, we have, I think, Rawls County, Marion County, New London, places like that are all utilizing the system. So these are agencies that they would want to try to migrate over as well, so they could all be under the same thing. And with that, the reason I'm bringing it tonight, I don't have the contract ready for tonight. I did get it, James to look at it, and he is okay with it, but I didn't have it ready in time for the agenda, so I will have that on the next agenda. But to secure the current pricing, NECOM needs to kind of get this project rolling within calendar year 2025. So they're looking for some support so that they could feel comfortable in going forward and kind of putting their ink to the contract, and then we would sign an agreement with them at a later date with that contract I was talking about, to where we would pay NECOM for access to the system. They'd be the umbrella contract holder for all these other agencies. And with that, I put in your memo there kind of the prices. That's how it's broke down right now. Not to scare you on some of that, because some of it's $30,000 a year once you get past the first year implementation. But we're currently paying about $20,000 a year for DigiTicket, which is a software that we can write tickets electronically and import them to show me courts. The new system will have its own ticketing system built into it, so we'll have that savings within it. So really, we're not talking about drastic changes in what we're paying now. And of course, none of this would be due based on the contract that I've seen from them until after the next budget year anyway, in July. So they give us some flexibility, because they'll pay it up front, and then we can pay them within, I think, a certain time frame of our budget being adopted. So I'm just looking for support to proceed with this. Like I said, I'll be back probably the next council meeting with the contract to go over, but it's a rather big deal, not just for us, but for all these agencies that do this, and for NECOM, because they'll have basically one system that everyone's on, and it'll be beneficial for everybody.
Interoperability wise, it's a plus, it sounds like.
Yeah, each agency will have their own data that'll be under one umbrella, that will be separate and siloed, but we'll be able to share information easier and kind of work more collaboratively, especially in the dispatch side, because they're dispatching for multiple agencies at the same time. They'll be able to see things in more real time between the various agencies, and we won't be cordoned off as much for them.
So this is a software that we want, not necessarily that we settle for. This is the...
Yeah, we had a group of people from the police department that sat in on these demos, and there were some really nice ones that there's probably a cutting edge one that might be more advanced than this one, but they don't have any integrations in Missouri yet, and I think the consensus was we didn't want to be the guinea pig. We've done that before with a in-car system, and I think they spent 6 months with a tech at our office trying to get it to work right that whole entire time. So This is a proven system that's in use by a lot of agencies.
Anytime that we're able to partner with NECOM, with Branson, they do a fantastic job, and so I know our IT guys are excited to work with it. This is a no-brainer to be able to do this regionally. This will make a big difference for.
Yeah, I just want to make
for
sure
law
that we're
enforcement.
not settling for something and
Yeah.
in 6 months down the line, we're not happy with it, and we've seen that before.
Yeah. Typically, Branson doesn't settle for things, so that's a good thing. So.
Okay, council, any questions on that from the chief? If not, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the authorization for Police Chief Naki to proceed with the software support and implementation agreement.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
The plan would be with this new public safety tax to fund this. Is that correct?
It'll be part of next year's budget, so.
Because we have not discussed anything about total amount of money we expect and deciding where that's going to be allocated yet. So that's just,
Yeah, I think this would probably, I mean, fit within your plan budget, because like you said earlier, you're already paying the 20,000 or whatever, so not saying that we couldn't use some of that tax money on that, but I
Yes,
think
exactly.
that hasn't really been pinned down yet,
Yeah, we have not made a
what that's
so,
gonna look
yeah, we
like,
don't-
so.
that's my whole point.
And the fire department's using this too, correct? So you can just
Yes,
split that
actually,
half and
I
half
failed
with
to
them.
mention that. I failed to mention that too. But there's some dispatching component to that as well. I think Chief Nyson can explain that a little bit more, where they'll be able to have some devices.
150/50 on this?
So this is going to help us tremendously as well. The dispatches, occasionally, they can send us sensitive information, patient information or something like that. They can send that without putting it over the air of the radio or for everybody to hear. If a patient, for instance, they had their key hidden somewhere, sometimes they'll send us that information privately. They can send that to us. We can, it's my understanding from Branson that we would be able to read the CAD notes that they're putting in from the callers in real time. Even as we're responding, the captain can read their notes and get us information. We'll have the ability to put ourselves on scene and clearing the scene from a push of the button in the truck. So this is technology that we've been kind of working towards for the last several years, and this is very exciting for us as well.
Very good.
You brought up a good point with being able to go on scene. Our officers will be able to do a lot of things like initiate a traffic stop by hitting a button on their screen, and it'll put their GPS location into where they're at. So it frees up a lot of radio traffic, which is a benefit not only to NECOM, but also to our officers. It ties up a lot of communications, and then they can run the personnel from within that system and get the responses back and import them into our system all electronically, which is all stuff we can't do right now. So.
This is a question really for both of you. I think you mentioned the way you talked about it. No one is using this in our immediate area right now.
No.
Is that correct?
Not like within the localized. Everyone.
Well, I mean, New London, Palmyra.
No, they're
just
on the old
within.
system. They're
Okay.
still on. They're on the legacy.
But were they involved in this research? I mean, applies to fire department side too. Were these outlying communities involved in this when you went out
they
to
hosted
study?
a demo and had entities from the sheriff's departments, and I know Rawls County. I believe I don't want to speak because I haven't seen
Sure.
their minutes from their legal governing body, but I'm almost certain that the Rawls County's board has already approved it for the sheriff's department there. I don't know about Marion County for sure, but NECOM doesn't dispatch for them directly right now. So,
Well, that was going to be my next question then. Do you anticipate, or did your, peers from those other communities indicate that they are interested in and are going to try to seek the monies for this as well?
from my understanding, I think the ones I know a couple that have said yes already, but I'm not sure how many more are going to follow suit with that.
Okay.
But some of them are under the umbrella of Rawls County too. That'll probably be paid for, like Center PD. They're dispatched through Rawls County and NECOM, so that'll fall. We'll have more and more agencies. They might not be big agencies, but we're their largest,
Sure.
customer.
Understand. And Chief Neeson, do you know,
I can't speak to other fire departments.
were you involved in this research though? Were you guys?
Not as much as Chief Naki
Sure,
was, but
understand.
I'm on board with the technology. We have a long ways to go with technology, and this is something that a couple years ago NECOM made an investment in some. So we have like internet on our trucks
Right.
and stuff like that, and so we've been working towards this for several years and getting this technology for us. And to go further on, I believe this is going to help with our report writing as well. They should be able to access our report writing system to enter all the location times and all that stuff, which is going to be greatly helpful to us as well.
But just working with, my whole point, it doesn't matter whether they are not for us to make the decision. However, it's just, if everyone's going the same way, the communication, workmanship between all the different departments in all the various communities would be so much better.
Yes.
Oh.
it's my belief that everybody would be on board if, you know, but I can't speak for that.
It would help everybody involved.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second currently. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, chiefs. Next up.
Yeah, got some more. So I rarely get to do this, but we have a demo of this next item, which I'm talking about tonight, which is a ballistic plate for our officers. So as part of the Blue Shield grant, and you'll probably hear me at this meeting, maybe the next one as well, keep talking about the Blue Shield grant. We were awarded $50,000 as part of the governor's initiative toward public safety. So you're gonna hear me come up here and say Blue Shield grant a lot, but this is one of the things that we wanted to do for our officers. It's a rifle threat rated ballistic plate, and we want to put them in each of our officers' vests. And with this, in conjunction with our soft body armor, will stop a lot of the rifle rounds which are currently out there today. And while that doesn't seem like something we would face very often, you're right, it probably won't be. But if it saves one person's life, I think the grant money is well worth it. It gives us that extra bit of knowledge that we know that we're prepared to go into those situations, maybe kind of reduce some of the anxiety when you go into those calls. But knowing that it's there, I want to do everything we can to make sure our officers are safe. And with that, I'm coming here tonight because I was seeking approval to purchase this through Leon Uniform Supply. They have a contract through the St. Louis County Cooperative contract, and the total on that would be $15,300. And of course, those funds would come from that $50,000 grant.
Questions on that item, council? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase with the Blue Shield grant money for $15,300.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next.
All right. Next one has to do with tasers. We've been kind of in the situation the last, I think, 2 years. I began talking to Lisa Peck about the fact that our tasers that we've had were kind of limping them along. We have the X2s, which are currently 2 generations previous to what's currently out there. With that, they no longer support them. So being an electronic device and something like that, when you have a problem with them, getting repairs on them and things like that, warranty work, they're not under warranty anymore. And the fact that we can't buy them outright anymore, that's kind of a reoccurring theme, especially in the law enforcement equipment side, is you can't buy anything outright anymore. Everybody wants to go to a contract, basically a subscription-based service. So with that, we need to get moving on this because the number of tasers we currently have, if we continue to have problems with some of them and we have to down them and not be able to use them anymore, we won't have enough tasers for the officers that are working. Now, generally speaking, that's worked out rather well due to our staffing levels being so low, where we haven't had enough officers. If we would have a shift of 6 or 7 people show up, there's times where we wouldn't have enough tasers to get to all of our officers. It's a very valuable tool. I was an instructor for many years on it. I've seen how it works really well. I've seen how it doesn't work, and can kind of walk people through that on how to use them. But with that, we've been in contact with Axon. They are the sole manufacturer of these types of devices in law enforcement, at least law enforcement grade. And with that, they have a Sourcewell contract. It's broken up into a 5-year agreement. Like I said, everything is subscription-based now. It's to kind of throw it into context. You're not just getting the taser, you're getting training materials, you're getting all the cartridges to use every year, batteries, and then support, warranty. We found that the warranty is probably the most valuable part with these things because we've seen them get submerged in the river, creeks. I think I fell in a creek with one before, and they don't do too well when you do things like that. But the warranties cover those in that type of instance. But with that, we're looking at an annual cost of $26,029.23. So that's a 5-year contract with them. And as with that though, it locks in that price for that time. So I can guarantee they're not gonna get any cheaper in the next 5 years, based on what they can do. And this will cover the training for up to 5 instructors, and then the equipment, and then the training materials and so forth. I believe I have a resolution on this one, but I can entertain any questions regarding the taser.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are you currently under a contract with the ones that you have, or?
No, they did not offer them at the time. So back when we purchased these many years ago, you could buy them individually for about $1,600 to $1,800 a piece, and now you cannot do that. So
They have any resale value?
my plan is to keep the couple of the good ones for the CSOs and let them use them. I think we can kind of keep a few that are still around. So I'd like to keep them and then use them for the CSOs, because this contract only accounts for 14. And if we were going to include the CSOs with these, we would need at least 2 or 3 more.
The city clerk asked for one as well, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere near Melissa, and she's got a taser.
Chief, I just want to make sure I understood you correctly. So we've never had enough tasers ever for when you are like fully staffed?
No, we did, but they've just over time broken, and we can't replace them now.
But before, when like one broke, you wouldn't try to replace it back then?
Yeah, we would.
Okay.
When it was, they were still, like right now they don't make them anymore, and they're out of, like this model we have, we can't replace and you can't repair. So when they break now, they're just broke.
But hypothetically speaking, if an officer was not to have a taser on them, they would have to resort to pulling their rifle, correct?
No, I mean, we have your OC batons and other,
Okay.
you have other methods. We have beanbag shotguns in the car, which shoot out like a.
But they're not always on an officer's person at all times.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's why the taser is the most
Yeah.
valuable, is a valuable tool. However, there's times when you can't use a taser, flammable environments, next to a gas pump, can't use a taser. So you have to be able to have like OC spray or second
Yeah.
option.
I think what April's saying is we don't want to get to a situation.
Yeah,
where we
it's just
don't
kind of
have
crazy.
them.
Like, I
Yeah.
think that every officer should always at all times have one on their person, and want to make sure that we don't have to resort to using their gun, because, like I said, with the beanbags, they're not always on their person except in certain situations. So,
Yeah, these are things we've been talking about for a while, but without knowing where the safety tax was going to land in budget decisions next year, we kind of held on a bunch of things. Now that we know this additional money will be coming, it kind of frees us up to start, I'm not saying spend all of it, but some of it, to go ahead so we don't get into these dire situations.
This is why I'm doing this now instead of July, is because we can't really go any further. If 2 tasers break next week, we're going to be in trouble. So this would get us into, I think they wanted to start, they would ship in the end of March, and then we'd be able to kind of with a target date of going live on April. That seemed realistic to get this all through.
and
go
is there
forward.
any grants that could be applied for to help compensate with purchasing extra ones?
Well, like more?
One, so that there's enough for when you
lot
are
of-
fully staffed, but even extra in case one were to break.
That's always something we'll look at. Anytime these Blue Shield grants and things come up,
Yeah, they specifically exclude.
but
Specifically exclude tasers and firearms, so.
but there's always grants that anytime the grant shows up, we're applying for it.
Are there advanced replacements if one fails, so that you always have a full?
Yeah, so with them being under warranty, we're requesting 14, which should be more than enough. Now we can modify, like I spoke to them about that, like if in the future we hire 4 more officers and we need to have more tasers, is it hard to modify? And they said, no, it's just a matter of getting the paperwork to them and going. So the good thing with them being under warranty, that if we have a problem with it, we can ship it straight to them with their RMA process and get it returned, and then they'll either fix it or ship you a new one.
Plus to your point, the ones that we already own that we paid for outright that are still in working condition, you're gonna keep those
Yep.
as backups in case something happens temporarily till you get a warranty claim
Yeah, I think
or something like
Yeah,
that on one of the new ones.
working with them in the past on their warranty stuff, they're really good to work with. And I really don't anticipate as many problems with these,
Okay.
being brand new for a
If you
while.
have to tase me, could you use a new one? I don't want the old one, like,
So, council, if you have any questions, that's resolution 2578-25 to file, and that is for a 5-year contract for a total cost of $130,146.16.
I do have one question, whether it be for the chief or someone up here, Andy. Funding is available, you said, with this public safety tax being passed now, is funding available to cover this right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we don't expect to pay for this for a little while, but
Oh, I understand.
in the meantime, we do have the funding. And
Okay.
in the next 4 years, I think the good question is the safety tax will be able to be allocated
Yes.
towards these kind of projects.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, and last thing for this time is a payroll amendment. We've been looking at staffing and kind of what we've been talked about. You know, we've had to do a lot of things at our department to deal with the shortage of staffing. You know, trying to work back towards that. We're currently, as of next Thursday, we'll have 32 officers. With that, 2 of those officers are brand new. They graduate Thursday. I'll go to the academy and pin them on that day. They still have to come back for a 16-week field training process to where they can actually go on their own and, you know, patrol the streets and be counted as a body. These are positive things. However, it puts me in a situation where it only leaves me with 2 budgeted openings in our current budget. And also we have a cadet that's going to the next academy class that starts in January. So then it'll leave me with 1 budgeted opening. And the problem is when we look at it holistically, like from a bird's eye view, the retirement eligibility of our department, we have 9 that'll be eligible to retire in 2027. And with that, that includes 3 sergeants, and the entire command staff of the police department. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but with that, we need to keep sending people to the academy, and we need to have room within our, not just say our budget, but the payroll amendment, to where if I can find 2 more people, that we can send them to the academy, because it's going to take them 6 months at the academy, 16 weeks of field training, to where we can actually get them functional again. Not that I anticipate anybody leaving, but with that, you know, we're getting the top end of our department is more, with all your experience, are all getting eligible to retire, and we need to work on kind of backfilling and getting the bottom end. And we haven't been able to do that due to the budgetary constraints, but hopefully going forward that'll be something that we can work for. So we're requesting that we do a payroll amendment to change the sworn staffing by the addition of 1 police officer to take our sworn staffing from 34 to 35. And with that, we have room in our current budget based on just the savings from not filling all these positions that we can.
Yeah, so there's 2 different things here. We require, anytime we're going to spend more money in the budget, we require a budget amendment, which we do not think we'll need to be doing this on this one. But when you guys approve in June, you also approve a payroll amendment, which allots each department with X amount of employees. And so this would give an amendment to that, allowing chief to hire 1 more police officer. Now, with that said, we do know next year we have someone leaving for military duty that could be gone up to 9 months or a year. So we know we'll be down that employee, and with retirements and things, we'll be back down. So I think the key to looking at the fire department and police department is if you have somebody, it's very difficult to get somebody trained. It's very difficult to even get somebody to apply, but if you can get them applied and then pass everything, take advantage of that, because you know at some point in time you're going to lose it. We also, I think when we went around talking about the public safety tax, getting the police department officers up was a goal of ours, and so this would just add 1 more. It's still down from the high point of 42, but I think going ahead and going to do this is a smart move, especially if we have somebody we think we can hire.
So just to clarify, you had the money in your budget, but we've got to put that in the payroll.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And you'll put that in the payroll, but we'll have to allocate that money next budget season.
Yeah, so what will end up happening, So right now, with the overall police department budget, we think we have enough savings to cover somebody if we get them hired for the rest of this year. Right. Now, with that being said, in April, we should start collecting public safety tax. And so at some point in time, we'll have to make a budget modification with that money for police and fire at that point in time. So there'll be additional money coming in then. And then by that time, we'll be working on the next year's budget to decide how we're going to break that all up. But quite frankly, if Jacob has someone retire or leave, you're right back down to where you were anyways. And so from a financial standpoint, this should be no big deal for us.
When we're looking at this, when we're looking at hiring somebody, that person doesn't really become an asset. Like, I don't say an asset, but an actual officer that can respond on their own for about a year from the time they walk in the door and test with us to the day that they get released on their own completely. So when we're looking at this, we're looking a year out, really to where these people are going to be. So while now we're talking about having one person, we're not going to feel that for another 12 months.
Well, and when we talked about this, I think the thing that motivated me to do that is if we know we have somebody that's going to be gone for 9 months, that's 9 months of savings right there. And so we'll be down that whole time. So trying to bring somebody on board before that hits or kind of coinciding with that is big for us, so we're not down even more.
Chief, in regards to you being short-staffed and in regards to savings, how is your overtime offered to your officers?
Well, sometimes it's not an offer. Sometimes it's you have to work overtime.
Right, but are we, obviously newer officers don't get paid as much as ones that have been there a lot longer. I just want to make sure that we're not just willy-nilly, giving it to the officers that have been there the longest. If we can be mindful on saving money with, do you know what I mean? I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
It's not uncommon for people to make a lot of extra money in overtime. It's not because they're necessarily wanting it, it's because it's just required for the job. I mean, if you arrest someone at 10 till the end of your shift and 6 o'clock this morning, you're going to stay over because you have to get it done. So there's overtime like that. Then there's overtime for special events like football games, things like that, basketball games. I think there's a wrestling match, a college one being held here where the school contracts with, pays us to have officers there. So there's not a shortage of overtime. I know you can't ask the officers out there. There's no shortage.
I just didn't know if that was offered to officers that have been there the longest or how that exactly worked. That's why I wanted to ask.
It used to be competitive where seniority prevailed and people could bump you, but that has not been a problem for probably 10 years.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, there's so
The
much.
fire department's in the same boat, I believe.
Yeah. And so is the Parks and Street Department. There's so much overtime to be had because of our shortage of numbers that the seniority rule is not really there anymore. It's
I just figured I would ask.
there's too much. So
Today it was first come, first serve. I think Lieutenant Wilt sent something out that he needed an officer for living windows, and we had an answer within 30 minutes, and we're just going to take that and go, take the yes and go.
It's a good question, though. Yeah.
I do have one quick question for you. I should know the answer to this. You said about a year from walking the door to on the street, patrolling by yourself. What's our policy on that? If you're post-certified already, we still send them to the academy?
No, we would.
So that cuts that time down. If you can find somebody that was.
Yeah, we would hire somebody post-certified. It's been rare, and it's just in today's market, it's so competitive that we don't want to take necessarily people that are not good fits for other agencies and then just shove them into a spot here.
Understand. I was just curious.
So we watch that a lot, and then most people we get we're getting a lot of people coming out of the military that are looking to stay in public service, government type work, and we've had I think I'll have the 2 new ones here for probably swearing in next council meeting, and they're both veterans that are getting out of the military and want to keep serving. So
Very cool. Okay. Any other questions over the payroll amendment for Chief Naki, Council? If not, that'll be Bill 25-079 to follow.
I have one more thing, just really quick. It's not on the agenda, but I wanted to show you because when we talk about grants and all the things, I'm always up here asking to spend money on grants. This is something that we actually got from our most recent block grant from the state. So this is a ballistic helmet. So kind of furthering that public safety thing. These are helmets for our special response team. that are, ready to stop rifles and so forth. But I had that out the other day and I wanted to show it, because this is actually some of the stuff that we're asking to spend these grant monies on. That, these are almost $1,000 a piece, where the city taxpayers didn't have to pay for this. That this came from either federal or state funding that was out there. So it's just something, if you want to see it afterwards, let me know.
Chief, I have a friend whose life was saved by wearing one of those, and I'm glad we got them.
Yep, they're very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, I believe, if my paperwork is right, is bill number 25-076. Need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill number 25-076, an ordinance rezoning 1506 Lindo Avenue and 1508 Lindo Avenue in the city of Hannibal, Marion County, Missouri, from a A1 and 2 family to F industrial district and amending the city's zoning map accordingly. Second and final reading. Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
Excuse me. I now declare bill number 25-076 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have bill number 25-077. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion in a couple seconds. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill 25-077, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal providing for a municipal election to be held Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026, for the purpose of allowing Hannibal voters to determine the continuation of funding the city's recycle program. Second and final reading. Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
I now declare bill number 25-077 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have bill number 25-078. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill 25-078, an ordinance adopting and imposing an additional city sales tax of 0.5% for the sole purpose of improving the public safety of the city. First reading.
All right, next item is bill number 25-079. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved?
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill number 25-079, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 payroll ordinance number 1 relative to the addition of 1 police officer salary. First reading.
All right, council, next item is resolution 2576-25. I need a motion to have the clerk give this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved?
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2576-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a local approval letter required by section 66030411A of the Wisconsin statutes, so the Public Finance Authority can issue taxable revenue bonds in the approximate amount of $9,750,000, the proceeds of which will finance a project to be located in the city of Hannibal, Missouri. Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
I now declare resolution 2576-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have resolution 2577-25. Need a motion to have the clerk give this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved?
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2577-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a change order 1 and 2, adding an additional $43,397.93 to the original contract for the renovations to Central Park. Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
I now declare Resolution 2577-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have Resolution 2578-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2578-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $130,146.16 service agreement between the City of Hannibal and Exxon Enterprises Incorporated for a 5-year agreement for the TASER CEWs and associated training. Councilman Cohen?
Yes?
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azotea.
Yes.
I now declare Resolution 2578-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Last item I have tonight, council, is closed session. I need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, subparagraph 1, admitting myself, city council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, and city building inspector Mark Kemker.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes?
Councilman Leaders? Yes. Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azotea.
Yes.
All right, we're in closed session. Thank you everyone for coming tonight.
Andy?